We are on Eruvin, Perek Hey, Mishnah Gimel, third Mishnah in the fifth chapter of Eruvin. In our last Mishnah, we talked about the notion of a karpaf. Where we are, Mishnah Bet. There we are. Karpaf. A karpaf is a border to a city. We said the border was 70.6 amot, which is one direction of 5,000 square amot. It's 5,000 square divided by 70.6 times 70.6. And we said the Chachamim said the idea of a karpef, I keep calling it karpaf. The karpef was between two cities. If there's a distance, if I took 70.6 amot in one direction and 70.6 amot in the other direction, and between the two cities it was less than 141.2 amot, then osin karpef lishteyem. Then we make this border between the two, and they're like one. As we saw in our example, in our theoretical example, because I'm pretty sure there isn't only 140 amot between Yad Binyamin and Beit Chilkiah. If you ever go there, you'll see the first house in Beit Chilkiah starts. There's a little bit of a road between the two, so it's got to be more than 140, 70 meters. Yes, definitely more than that. Nonetheless, in our theoretical example, if between the two villages, if the 70 buffer zone, the 70 amma and the 70 amma overlap, so there's less than those, then it's considered like one, as we said, and you would measure, and then you would make an eruv for one, then you would consider it like one eruv, so both of the cities would be considered like one, and then anyone in Yad Binyamin can walk, and then you would start measuring the eruv tchumin of this 2,000 amot or whatever. It's not the scale, but then you would measure 2,000 amot from both of them together. That's the din of the karpef that we talked about. Our mission is a continuation of that mission. The mission says, "V'chein shlosha kfarim mishulashim." The same is true of three villages who are mishulashim, triangulated. Im yesh bein shnayim hachitzonim me'ar v'arba'im ve'echad u'shlish. If between the two outside ones there's 141 and a third amot, then asa emtza'i et shloshtam. Then the middle one, okay, becomes a middle one liyotam ke'echad, to be like one. So I have a drawing for you, okay. If there's in this theory, okay, three kfarim, if there's 141 amot between the two outside ones, that's the text of the Mishnah. Im yesh bein shnayim achitzonim. If there's between the two outside ones 141 and a third amot, then the third one, then this emtza'i, then they're like together. Now that's of course true if they're on a line. But our Mishnah says even if they're triangulated, shlosha kfarim mishulashim, and you're talking about a very, very wide triangle, okay? Because the Bartanura says the kama yehe ben ha'emtza'i lechitzonit. How much? What's the distance between the middle one and the outside? Alpayim amah, 3,000 amot. Meaning this middle one. Okay. Now, first of all, I want to point out the way he writes it. Interestingly enough, he says the Bartanura says it's actually a huge machloket. Does this distance from this to that, the two outside, have to be 141, or does it have to be 100, theoretical? Remember, we said this one is triangulated. It could be up to 2,000 amot away, which is a huge distance, okay? It could be up to 2,000 amot on the diagonal. So, theoretically, many Mefarshim say that what it means is if you move this along the line to here, then the distance of this would be less than 141 and a third. Meaning these outside ones don't have to be within 141, because if they were, then they'd be counted also. I guess so that's a huge machloket. You say that it has to be 141 from here to the theoretical placement, and then another 141, or some other opinions say that it's 141 from those two outside ones, and this emtza'i one is like down here, even though it's here. Nonetheless, that's considered part of the triangulation as well. It's actually the interpretation of the Bartanura. Ein bein zeh lezeh kuf mem ama ushlish. Okay, there's 141 and a third. Okay. V'chein letzad ha'ir chitzona ha'acheret ein bein ha'imtza'it leveina ela 140 ve'ama echad uma. So the Bartanura is this opinion, this bottom opinion, that says it's 141 and a third to where the middle one would be. The only problem with that Kahati points out is that it doesn't really fit in the language of the Mishnah. Im yesh bein shnayim hachitzonim. The Mishnah seems to imply the distance between the two outside is 141 and a third. But that's difficult to understand, because if they're close enough to each other, then you wouldn't need the third one. What would the third one do? I guess that according to that opinion, the chidush is that the third one is considered in the triangulation as well, even though it's almost 2,000 amot away down the line. We'll stop here. If you have any comments or questions, as always, email me at my email address, rspolter@gmail.com. And there we are. And we'll dedicate a learning to the memory of my father, Rav Simcha ben Yitzchak Kalman.